They have Jake Paul, JakePaul. That's the state of boxing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Let that sink in. That's
JakePaul,
boxing.
JervontaDavis is so crazy. 135 versus 200. That is so nuts.
They go, the rehydration limit or something is 195. And he goes, wait, thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
One thing that is not the common thing to have in a contract, if I'm paying, a ladder. A ladder. Can I get a ladder? Somebody? You know what I mean? Hey, look, all kidding aside, if he hits him on the chin the way he can punch, Jake might be doing a dance. You know what I mean? Not voluntarily either. But we'll get into that more later.
During a recent podcast, Joe Rogan broke down the highly anticipated Jake Paul versus JakePaul fight, saying, "This could get ugly." He emphasized the massive weight difference between the two. Reminding fans that weight classes exist for a reason, Rogan explained that while Jake Paul's size and strength give him a clear advantage, Gervonta's skill and speed make the matchup intriguing. However, he cautioned that the physical gap could turn the contest into a dangerous and unfair encounter.
My opinion is, I just want to say, in case someone calls me in court, I'm a fucking idiot and I don't know nothing. And don't take my advice.
I love the
Don't
Saudis.
take my opinion.
I love the Israeli government. I love
That had
everybody.
nothing to do with them. That was Jake Paul promoting it. You know, it's just like,
But
doesn't bother me.
there's compromising the sport, and that's like bad. It's just like
If I bet on it,
watching it with
Yeah.
people who are so in on it, and then also man, the sports betting apps, they introduced like chat apps in them in Australia, so it's like they're trying to take the place of social media companies where you go together and you meet your friends. Like betting should be exciting enough without having a weird.
I'm just trying to draw you in. I'm just trying to make money, right? So I'm trying to draw you in.
Rogan repeatedly highlighted how absurd the weight disparity truly is between Jake Paul and JervontaDavis. Paul has been competing around cruiserweight, roughly 195 to 200 pounds, while Davis has spent nearly his entire career at lightweight, hovering around 135 pounds.
It is happening. WBA lightweight champion JervontaDavis, who's unbeaten in 31 professional contests, takes on the self-proclaimed problem child, Jake Paul, one of the most influential and marketable global personalities. Paul and Davis square off in Miami after doubts around the fight being sanctioned in Georgia triggered a change in venue. Neither fighter can weigh more than 195 pounds. The weight is perhaps the most surprising factor. Paul has boxed most of his career around 200 pounds, cruiserweight limit, but did tip the scales at 227 pounds when he faced off against Iron Mike Tyson last year. Davis, much smaller in stature, competes at the 135 pound mark and has also won world honours at super featherweight. And despite some discussions about possibly dropping down to 10 ounces, the pair seems set to wear 12-ounce gloves. And in terms of distance, despite the exhibition tag, the fight will play out over 10 3-minute rounds with 3 scoring judges at ringside, but the results will not be officially recorded on their professional record.
Criticism has poured in from boxing. Purists and athletic commissions alike, many have argued that such a large mismatch would never be sanctioned. Under standard professional rules, even with catchweight, agreements, or an exhibition label, these experts insist that such gaps challenge the integrity of the sport.
He should beat Jake Paul, shouldn't he?
No, he shouldn't.
You don't think... Sorry, so... I thought we were all unanimous. Do you think that Jake Paul beat JervontaDavis?
70 pounds is 70 pounds.
JervontaDavis is very small. 5'5".
Tiny, bro.
5. You got
Please.
Jake Paul.
The little man.
If Jake Paul's tucking up
Move on.
and absorbing punishment for walking forward, then look, there's a way.
Rogan views this fight more as a spectacle than a genuine competition. He stated 135 versus 200, that's just insane, stressing how absurd the matchup looks from a traditional boxing perspective. He also expressed concern about the risks involved, explaining that when one fighter carries significantly more mass, the force behind their punches increases dramatically. This makes serious injury Far more likely, especially for the smaller fighter, regardless of skill.
In boxing, so you got Canelo Crawford, you got Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, that's happening. And then you have Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis. That's the state of boxing.
That's crazy.
Let that sink in.
Jake
That's
Paul,
boxing right
Gervonta Davis is so crazy. 135 versus 200. That is so nuts.
They're all exhibition.
None of them are. They're exhibitions.
But what does that mean?
This means you don't really. Nobody wins.
They're not right. It's kind of. I mean,
It's weird.
I don't want Jake to assume me. They're not. It's not like a real scrap. It's not real.
Really? So they're not trying to knock each other out?
No, Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather don't like each other. They have not liked each other forever.
Tyson Mayweather.
Yes,
But they like
Mike Tyson and Mayweather don't like each other.
Huh.
If there's a fight that might be real, like where Mike Tyson might say, "I'm gonna knock this out," or "I'm gonna try to knock this
It would
motherfucker."
be
Due to widespread concern over the size difference, several special rules have been established for the fight. It has been officially designated as an exhibition bout, meaning it won't count on either fighter's professional record. Additional restrictions include larger glove sizes and a specific catchweight limit of 195 pounds. Despite its exhibition status, judges will still be appointed to oversee the fight.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195.
Oh, wow. So he would go all the way from 40 to 95?
Yeah, I mean it would be an exhibition.
Okay. But and so what does that mean? Is that 3-minute rounds?
Yeah, 10 3-minute rounds.
And when you say exhibition, like what are the restrictions on that?
No restrictions, just the fact that like we couldn't actually get it professionally sanctioned.
Critics like Daniel Cormier have echoed these sentiments, saying that while GervontaDavis is clearly the more skilled boxer, the weight discrepancy is extreme and risks turning the event into more of a spectacle than a sporting contest. Cormier stressed that Jake Paul is simply too big for Davis and that such an imbalance cannot be ignored. He questioned how a fight with such a visible disparity received approval from regulatory bodies in the first place.
Completely just it. I can't say the words that I want to say because I don't want to get canceled. But this fight should not be happening. And the press conference was embarrassing. Gervonta Davis should not have a mic in front of him. It was absolutely embarrassing watching this thing.
D, why, D?
Just the fact that like every time when Jake Paul would say something to Gervonta Davis, he didn't know how to answer it. He was comparing himself to like P. Diddy at moments, and I was like, oh my God, get a mic away from this guy. This fight shouldn't be happening. And then he didn't even know what weight they were fighting. He's like, I thought
That's
it was
bad,
190,
D.
it was 195.
That was the craziest thing. That was the thing that stood out to me the most. Was that when they go, the rehydration limit or something is 195, and he goes, wait, thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad, because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big.
Cormier also pointed out that many fighters today engage in severe weight cutting, close to fight night, often pushing their bodies to the edge of dehydration. When such practices are combined with a natural size difference in the ring, the danger doubles in a matchup like Paul versus Davis, where one fighter can rehydrate and enter. The ring much heavier and stronger, the imbalance becomes even more pronounced.
It's the most dangerous thing in the world. With us, we would go on Thursday night. If I weighed 216 and I had to be 205 by Friday morning, I would get as low as I possibly could and then try to go to bed. So if I'd get to 207, I would hope that by the morning I'd be 206. I'd only have to lose a pound in the morning. So I'm dehydrated for 12, 13, 14 hours. Those guys today are going to bed at that weight, Joe, 10, 11 over, and waking up at like 4 or 5 in the morning and cutting the weight, because they said if they cut all that weight, they don't sleep, which I can attest to. It don't matter how much melatonin you take, you're so dehydrated, you're not going to get a good night's sleep. I think it's dangerous.
Why is it dangerous?
Because you have to cut 10 pounds in 4 hours. If you don't, you're screwed. Because the worst possible feeling, you expect to lose 8, but you might lose 6, 5.5, and then you're like.
Cormier further expressed disbelief at how the fight was arranged. In the first place, calling the entire setup flawed. From the very beginning, he recalled the press conference where even Tank Davis seemed uncertain about the fight's weight class. To Cormier, this detail was not minor. It highlighted the lack of structure and clarity in the event's organization. In a sport built around strict weight, divisions for safety and fairness, this kind of confusion raises serious concerns.
How are we with everything, man? How's Tank been?
In a good headspace, great headspace, looking good. You know, just trying to go through our stages. You know, it's like pre-camp and camp. You know, get them from. We ain't fought in a while. You know what I'm saying? We was getting prepared for a Roach, and then we got blessed with this fight. That's how I look at it. You know.
Interesting comment there that they were getting ready for the Roach rematch, and then this fight was, you know, he said they got blessed with this fight, but this fight came through. So the plan was actually to go and rematch Lamont Roach, which is something that I think he should have done. I think they you know, for Tank's legacy, for, you know, just the sanctity of pro boxing when it comes to a world champion and what they do with that world championship belt, I think he should have taken the Lamont Roach rematch. It seems like they were going to, but the obvious reason that everyone, I think, knows why they didn't is because Netflix and a Jake Paul fight come with a massive bag. Like, there's probably no comparison to what Tank will make to fight Lamont Roach or anybody else compared to Jake Paul. Whether you like that or not, it's the truth. He is a money fight, and so is Tank. And that's why they're going to do a shit ton of viewers on Netflix and why they're going to both make a shit ton of money. So the point I want to take away from that is that they were starting to get their minds and body ready for Lamont Roach, which means that Tank was in somewhat of a serious pre-camp, right? Somewhat of a serious, you know, workout regimen, getting himself in shape. Not that Tank is super out of shape out of camp. I don't know that. But this means that he was mentally preparing for a fight regardless. It's not hopping off the couch Tank, which is not what you want to see, even against Jake Paul, because the least serious you take Jake, and I've said this about everybody that's fought him, the ones that don't take him serious, the ones that say he's a YouTuber and everything else, they end up losing, or they end up looking like, oh, wait a second, this guy was a little better than I thought. They end up either getting taken by surprise or actually sometimes losing because they don't realize that Jake actually takes it serious. So this is good to hear. Just already right off the rip, they were already doing something.
Surprise. So tell me, you know, when did you hear about this?
Been going back and forth for years. Tank and Jake, they've been going at it for years, and it would have happened sooner. You know what I'm saying? But we have hiccups in life. I'm gonna call it hiccups, but they lessons to learn from. But we back on track and keeping it moving.
When you heard about the fight, were you like, wait, what? Like, we're doing what?
Actually, when I heard about the fight, they called me and said, "What you thought about the fight?" I said, "Fight doable.